Hey everyone, I'm John Reams, an exercise physiologist at NICPAD, and I'm here today with my friends Tammy and Katherine, and we are going to bring you a core exercise routine. We're going to be utilizing a small inflatable Pilates ball. You could substitute any sort of small inflatable ball, or you could try these exercises without a ball included. So I'm going to let my friends introduce themselves. Tammy.
Hi, my name is Tammy Sampson, and I am a stroke and brain infection survivor.
And Katherine.
I'm Katherine Barrett. I am a survivor from stroke and a kidney implant.
All right, so a couple of important things to remember while we're doing these different exercises. We're going to try to keep our posture stacked, meaning we're going to place our ear over the top of our shoulder, try to place our shoulder over the top of our hip as much as possible. And we're going to try to keep our feet in contact with whatever surface they're resting on. And what I mean by that is think about your heel and the ball of your foot as a large screwdriver, and put that screwdriver in contact with the head of the screw. Tighten it in a little bit. When we breathe, try to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And when you inhale through your nose, think about allowing the space around your belly button to expand. And then when you exhale through your mouth, think about trying to really tighten that area around your belly button. Another way to think about this could be if you try to pull your belly button down and in when you exhale through your mouth. We're going to do a circuit of 5 different movements, and we'll go through them 2 times. It'll be a 10-minute workout. Last thing to remember here is because these are exercises that are focused on the muscles of your core, we don't want to do these movements quickly. What's going to really help to improve the strength and stability of the muscles of our core is if we move very deliberately and very slowly. For that reason, we're going to do each exercise for 1 minute. We'll go through all 5, and then we'll go through those 5 for 1 minute again. And we'll take 10 seconds in between each minute where I'll talk to you about the next movement that we're going to engage in. We are going to start by placing the Pilates ball behind our back, right in the space of the small of our back. This is almost as if you can imagine that you were wearing pants or shorts with a belt loop. You want the ball to be directly behind where your belt loop would be. And this first practice is going to involve us inhaling through our nose and then exhaling through our mouth. And when we exhale through our mouth, actively trying to push that imaginary belt loop back into the ball. All right, I'm going to start our timer. Here we go. We're going to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And when we exhale, think about closing your ribs and pushing that belt loop back into the ball. So you breathe at whatever pace you like. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, push that belt loop in. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, and push the belt loop in. Now, if you're not using the Pilates ball to do this, you can simply think about pushing the belt loop back into the chair or whatever surface you're sitting against. Inhale through the nose and expand the belly. Exhale through the mouth and contract the belly or close the ribs. That's a really important part of Pilates, is trying to keep your ribs down. And that's the end of the minute. Now we're going to do a rotational movement where I'm going to bring my hands to low on my right and try to rotate them to high on my left. And here we're trying to push the belt loop into the ball all the time. So constantly pushing the belt loop into the ball as you rotate from low on the right to high on the left, making sure we breathe. Another option for this could be placing the ball between your knees and squeezing it. Or imagining that you're pushing the belt loop into the back of the chair that you're sitting on. Excellent. Third movement's going to be another rotational movement. Again, we're going to try to maintain the belt loop being pushed into the ball. We're going to extend both arms and we're going to alternate between pulling one arm back and alternating that movement. You can think about reaching one arm forward as far as possible or pulling that arm back as far as possible. Try both. Again, the real focus here is on trying to maintain that belt loop or the small of your back being pushed into the ball the entire time. Trying to move very deliberately, turning your torso to reach that hand up and forward as much as possible. The next minute is going to be that wood chopping motion, but we'll go in the opposite direction. I'm going to place the ball between my knees for this one, just to show you a variation and how you can do this. I'll start low on the left and try to end high on the right. Something else to think about here is if you have the ball between your knees now, you want to really maintain force pushing into the ball. Not just holding it in place, but really pushing your knees into the ball, because that's going to help engage some of those deep core muscles, the muscles of the pelvic floor. And try to imagine that you've got a connection between your wrists and your belly button. And everywhere your wrists travel, your belly button follows it. The next movement, options can be keeping the ball behind your back or placing it between your lower legs. We're going to keep that stacked posture and we're going to slowly roll or lift one leg up and across the other one, trying to avoid leaning back, leaning forward, or swaying side to side. So there's a lot of stabilization in this movement because we're moving our legs, which changes the lever arm. And going very slowly, trying to keep that stacked posture in place, ears over the shoulder, shoulders over the hip. And the final movement for the circuit will be either squeezing the ball between your knees or placing it behind your back into the belt loop. And now you're going to try to keep that belt loop pushed into the ball or keep the ball squeezed between your knees while you inhale and exhale. In through the nose, out through the mouth. So this is an isometric hold, meaning the muscles are always engaged We're trying to keep our ribs closed as we breathe in. Just let our belly expand. And when we breathe out, still trying to keep the ribs down or closed, but contract your belly as you breathe out. We're doing great. Okay. We're going to go through all 5 of those movements again. We'll start by keeping the ball behind ourselves or between your knees, whatever works best for you. And now we're going to inhale and expand our belly, exhale, and push our belt loop into the ball. What are you thinking about while you're doing this, Tammy, to keep your core engaged?
Well, my breathing, but I'm also feeling my quads.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point because our core musculature spans from our shoulders to our thighs. It's not just the muscles around our midsection. So that's an important point. It's okay to be feeling some of these exercises in areas other than just around your belly button. All right, and we will transition to the wood chopping motion. I'll bring the ball out from behind my back this time. I'm going to start low on the right and rotate high on the left. It can be between our hands, it can be between our knees. Any of those 3 spots that help you to feel your core engage. This is the idea of wringing out a dish towel. As we twist, you want to imagine that you're trying to wring water out of that section between your ribs and your hips. What are you thinking about while you're doing this, Katherine?
I feel relaxed, and it's going to help me to reach higher and higher.
Yeah, so activities of daily living, is that?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Things we do every day as we go through the day. Great. 3rd movement. We're going to alternate reaching one arm forward and pulling one back. Again, trying to twist with the movement. It could be the ball could be between your knees or pushing that belt loop into the ball. Keeping the ball behind your back for this movement is going to allow you to get a larger range of motion as you rotate, because it's going to give you a fulcrum to pivot around. The ball acts like the point of a pivot, and you can alternate between focusing on reaching one arm back as far as possible, or focus on trying to reach the arm that's moving forward and extending up and away as far as possible. Always keeping that belt loop pushed into the ball.
Now that one I had an issue for is trying to keep my shoulders down.
Shoulders down, yeah. So when we go back to wood choppers now, maybe something to think about is trying to squeeze a pencil between your shoulder blades as you rotate from side to side. And for some of us, that can help to remind us to keep our shoulders pulled down away from our ears. And you could change the direction of this motion if you like. It doesn't have to be in the same direction for the entirety of the minute. The goal is to take your torso from one side toward the other while having your arms traveling from low on one side to high on the opposing side, still keeping that stacked posture in place. We'll place the ball either behind our back in the belt loop again, or between our lower legs. We'll try to take one leg up and over. Really trying to focus on upright posture, long spine, moving as slowly as possible, breathing the entire time. And since this is the last minute of the workout, we'll do this for 30 seconds. And then we'll go back to the ball either being squeezed between our knees or placed in the belt loop. And for 30 seconds, we're gonna try to push the belt loop into the ball or squeeze the ball between our knees and keep that tension as high as possible as we inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Long spine, stacked posture, ears stacked over the shoulder, shoulder stacked over the hip. Almost there. Breathing in, exhale. One more time, breathe in as deeply as possible. Expand the belly, breathe out, and contract the belly. And that's your 10-minute core Pilates ball workout. If there was anything in this video that you found important or meaningful to you, please give it a like. If there's anyone you know who could benefit from this video, please share it. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks.